Hello and welcome to Love Brand You on Win Win Women TV. I'm Sam Rafus, your host for this metaphysical show focused on faith and inspiration for you to succeed in all areas of your life. As we do each week, let's start with our Love Brand You prayer. So just settle in, take a deep breath, let it out, and just let yourself hear these words. Close your eyes if you like, and let's do our prayer. My God source loves me no matter what. I am always lovable and give myself compassion for everything I've ever done or not done. Love heals me more quickly than self-judgment. I choose love now for me and for everyone in my life. For this, I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Well, welcome to another week of Love Brand You. This month, as you know, our theme is well-being, and we have talked about prayer, we have talked about self-talk, and this week we are talking about forgiveness. And let's just start out with, what is forgiveness? And this comes from the Mayo Clinic, and I'm just paraphrasing some of their information, so I've just taken some parts that I thought would fit for the show. So, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness means obviously different things for different people. And generally, however, though, it involves a decision to let go of resentment, anger, and thoughts of revenge. So, I'm sure we've each had a few of those. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing the harm done to you or making up with the person who caused the harm. Forgiveness just brings a kind of peace and that helps you go on with your life. So what are the effects of holding a grudge? If you're unforgiving, you might bring anger and bitterness into every relationship and new experience. And sometimes I know I've repeated some of those patterns that I haven't let go or forgiven of. And we've all been guilty of, taking it out on somebody else. You become so wrapped up in the wrong that you can't enjoy the present, or you become depressed or anxious. You feel that your life lacks meaning or purpose, or you're at odds with your spiritual beliefs. So you may also lose valuable and enriching connectedness with others. Again, those relationships, not necessarily feeling like you want to be around other people because you hold a grudge, or you're upset, or you just feel like you can't forgive them. And being physically sick. Now, this is one that happens to a lot of people, that a physical illness is the result of something that they haven't let go. And coming from the health field and in holistic nutrition, I have seen my fair share of individuals that once we get a hold of letting go of something, that they just can't, so they're holding on to a grudge against another person. What they did to me, they did me wrong, and it is causing them health problems. So each week, I talk about a quote from one of my favorite metaphysicians, and this week's quote for that: unforgiveness is the most prolific cause of disease, according to Florence Scovel Shinn. So what are the benefits of forgiveness? Letting go of grudges and bitterness can make way for improved health and peace of mind. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, hostility, lower your blood pressure. I know individuals that have greatly seen a decrease or feeling better and not feeling that blood pressure, or they've taken blood pressure readings and they've said, it's amazing since I let go of that resentment or anger towards another individual, and it has manifested itself in a lower blood pressure. And fewer symptoms of depression is another benefit. And overall, health-wise, it helps you with a stronger immune system. Those that are sitting in that unforgiveness mode. And again, I can relate through my history of working with clients in holistic nutrition that when we do their symptomatology, it just means looking at their symptoms of what's affecting you, signs and symptoms for your health, that the immune system gives off certain signs and symptoms, and we've seen a increase in their health, in their immune system, once they've let go of some of the bitterness, anger, and resentment, and results in a stronger immune system. And on that note, improved heart health, improved self-esteem. So there's lots of benefits for um, learning to forgive. So let's go to, what have I got here for you? Okay, references. I have got two of my favorite references for forgiveness. And I was thinking, okay, why do I have my glasses here? And this is the part where I would like to, if you guys haven't seen this book, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Louise Hay and You Can Heal Your Life. She is known in our circles for doing a lot for forgiveness. So I just wanted to read one of her passages on forgiveness for you. And I refer to this quite a bit. So on page 91, let's see. So Louise says, the Course in Miracles says over and over that forgiveness is the answer to almost everything. I know that when we are stuck, it usually means there is something more, there is some more forgiving to be done. When we do not flow freely with life in the present moment, it usually means we are holding on to a past moment. It can be regret, sadness, hurt, fear, or guilt, blame, anger, resentment, and sometimes even the desire for revenge. Each one of these states comes from a space of unforgiveness, a refusal to let go and come into the present moment. Love is always the answer to healing of any sort, and the pathway to love is forgiveness. Forgiveness dissolves resentment. And I've mentioned it before in previous episodes that is a lot of the purpose why Love Brand You came to me all those years ago when I was working with a client at the time, and I kept saying to her, love yourself. Love is the answer. So I do know that over all these years of working on my own and issues isn't the right word, but it's the first word that came to my mind. But even working through my own relationship issues or health issues or money issues or improved self-esteem. So we all have things that we want to work on. The other resource that I've already mentioned, Florence, and unforgiveness is the most prolific cause of disease. The other passage I wanted you to hear from Florence is here on page 25. And today is sharing some of my favorite material with you. So Florence says, there is an old saying that man only dares to use his word for three purposes: to heal, bless, or prosper. What man says of others will be said of him, and what he wishes for another, he is wishing for himself. Curses, like chickens, come home to roost. If a man wishes someone bad luck, he is sure to attract bad luck himself. If he wishes to aid someone to success, he is wishing and aiding himself to success. The body may be renewed and transformed through the spoken word and clear vision, and disease be completely wiped out in the consciousness. The metaphysician knows that all disease has a mental correspondence, and in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. The soul is the subconscious mind, and it must be saved from wrong thinking. In the 23rd Psalm, we read, "He restoreth my soul." This means that the subconscious mind or soul must be restored with the right ideas, and the mystical marriage is the marriage of the soul and spirit. They must be one. when the subconscious is flooded with the perfect idea of the superconscious, God and man are one. Quote, I and the Father are one. Closed quote. That is, he is one with the realm of perfect ideas. He is the man made in God's likeness and image or imagination, and is given the power and dominion over all created things, his mind, body, and affairs. It is safe to say that all sickness and unhappiness come from the violation of the law of love. A new commandment I give unto you, love one another, and in the game of life, love or goodwill takes every trick. And love and forgiveness have a lot to do with each other. So that's why I like that passage from Florence Scovel Shinn, because oftentimes, in my experience anyway, that we're either feeling a sense of a sense of lower self-esteem, or something is bothering us and we need to forgive ourselves and we can't. And a personal story that hits home for me with forgiveness and self-love is about 10 years ago when the girl's father and I were splitting up. I felt a sense of, you know what, it's my fault. And at the same time, I was not forgiving him for things that I thought were his fault. So instead of blaming myself, I turned it around and started, of course, it's easier to blame someone else. And as I was going through that time period, and because these are the ways that I like to get through everything is through, prayer, meditation, metaphysical tools, metaphysical um, affirmations, everything that I'm doing to increase my self-esteem. And at that time, you're feeling low, you're going through a rough time. And I knew that I knew I had to get through it. And I knew I had to forgive him for my own sake, for his sake, but also for our daughter's sake, because we agreed that we may be splitting up, but the girls were number one. And we were both intent. When you talk about what's your intent, or what's your goal for a healthy divorce, our goal was making sure that our girls were okay. And I'm happy to say that we both stuck to that. And one of the another resource, again, I said it's books today, that were calling me for this episode. And when I was thinking about the girl's dad and I and what we had gone through, I thought of the exercises that I used from this book. And I had mentioned at the beginning, probably the first show, when I had made mention of my angel guidance that my mom had given me and that I had used in it, and it was a source of comfort for me. Well, another book, Healing with the Angels by Doreen Virtue, has been a great companion of mine, and I have used this book. I think in the cover 2007. I always write when I either buy the book or receive a book. So I've had this book for many years, and there's a couple of exercises at the back that I am going to read out to you as references and as exercises that I believe are super extremely helpful, and they helped me. However, how this ties in for my own forgiveness is when I thought about this book, I got to tell you that when I was researching Doreen Virtue about 3 years ago, I was surprised, and I had a moment of judgment and feeling like what's going on here, because I hadn't seen any of her material for a while. I had just used her books, and I had done some research, and her website went to a different angel therapy went to a different link, and she is now her practice revolves around spiritual teachings through Jesus, and that's all I know a little bit. And what she had said on her website, or a blog post or something. I just recall her saying that she doesn't so much believe in angels anymore. And I didn't know a lot about it, but at the time, um, it kind of struck me. It was like, what? Like, she doesn't believe in angels, but I mean, I believe in angels. My mom believes in angels, and this is, how we connect with each other. I felt that sense of, Doreen, how could you? And then thinking, okay, whoa, I can't be having judgment here. This is what I believe. This is what I tell people, that we all get to believe what we want to believe. So if Doreen Virtue had a change of heart about what she wants to write about, what she wants to talk about, what she wants to speak about, that is completely her business, and everything is okay with me. So I just thought it fit for this episode, and I want to get my glasses on here again, but I want you to hear her couple of exercises here that like I said, I have used, and I think they're very powerful. So this is on page 185 of Healing with the Angels, how the angels can assist you in every area of your life. All right. Forgiveness, free yourself now exercise. Anyone can feel more at peace and more energized through the process of forgiveness. This process reminds me of throwing off weights when riding in a hot air balloon so you can go higher up. Old anger, fear, and resentments are dead, weights that slow us and drain us of our vitality. Perhaps you have some weight you can throw over the side of your hot air balloon right now. When you forgive the world, including yourself, you become lighter and much less fearful. This process takes between 30 and 60 minutes to complete, and believe me, it is a worthwhile time investment. And yes, I do. I do agree with that. It's a very worthwhile investment. Many clients report that this single exercise immediately transforms their lives in powerfully positive ways. And here are some steps to freedom through forgiveness. So one, know the benefits of forgiveness. And we talked about that at the beginning. Forgiveness is different for everyone. It's not saying I lose or I was wrong and you were right. It's different from letting someone off the hook for perceiving a wrong deed. Forgiveness is simply a way of freeing your spirit and becoming an unlimited being. Step two, take a forgiveness inventory. This exercise is partially based on the work of author John Randolph Price. Write the name of every person, living or deceased, who has ever irritated you. Most people find that they have a 3 or 4 page list and are able to suddenly remember names of people they hadn't thought about in years. Some people put down the names of pets who irritated them, and almost everyone writes their own name somewhere on the list. Step 3, release and forgive. In a solitary room where no interruptions are possible, go down the list one name at a time. Hold the image of each person in your mind and tell him or her, I forgive you and I release you. I hold no unforgiveness back. My forgiveness for you is total. I am free and you are free. This process may take 30 minutes or longer. However, it's important to stick with it until the entire list is complete. And as I said, I did do that around that time of my divorce, and I can say that it was one of the most powerful things that I did, because at that time I really was having myself a pity party of loss, grief, resentment, unforgiveness. It was a tough time in my life for many reasons, and I'm sure that there's a few of you that can relate to going through a divorce or a bad breakup. And she also says here, for step 4, do nightly releasements. Every evening before retiring, do a mental review of the day. Is there anyone you need to forgive? Just as you probably wash your face every night, it's also important to cleanse your consciousness nightly so resentment won't accumulate. And speaking from personal experience, I do agree with that as well. I do my best to do daily forgiveness because it's easy to let something irritate us, and I can say me. It's easy, something's going on in your life, and something can happen. Somebody cuts you off, or somebody says something that you don't really like. It's easy to, for me anyway, sometimes I can feel myself want to say something to get back at that person, and I know that my own inner self-talk just said, you know what, no, that's not who you are. And when I make sure and I do that every day, hopefully it doesn't accumulate. Okay, the last exercise is actually a visualization that is really powerful. And this is one of my favorite things that I do often now, that I don't necessarily have to read through her words here, because I've done it so many times that it is automatic for me. And that's why I want to read it out for you guys. And before I do, I need to take a drink of water so my voice holds out. Okay. So just close your eyes. Just listen and imagine. Imagine that you are standing in a country field. A road is leading to you, one that brings all your material, emotional, and spiritual supplies. The road passes through a corral to get to you. The corral has two gates, one facing the road and one facing you. If both gates are open, supplies readily flow to you and your gifts to the world flow from you. Whenever we hold unforgiveness towards someone, we imprison that person in our minds, where we mentally flog them with our pronouncements of guilt and blame. The image of the person we resent is corralled in our consciousness, and the gates to the corral slam shut like prison doors. You necessarily go into the corral along with the person you've judged in order to monitor their imprisonment. So both gates are shut, and your locked corral blocks your flow and supply. Look inside your corral right now and see who's there. See the high price you pay for corralling these people. If you are ready to forgive, imagine the gates of your corral automatically opening. Visualize whoever is in the corral walking out free, happy, and forgiven. Wish them well. If this seems difficult, try forgiving the person instead of their deeds. As you forgive, feel the release, the relief, and the renewed energy as your resentment lifts. Check to make sure that you're not in the corral alone out of an ego judgment you hold against yourself. So recheck your corral often, especially when you feel ill, tired, or afraid. You'll find that these are the times when you have the most people, including yourself, locked into your corral. Once you open the gates and clear the corral, your emotions and energy level will improve. So thank you, Doreen. And that exercise, like I said, I have used that many times, and it is powerful just to remember. And every now and then, when I'm feeling particularly well, resentful isn't the word, but when I think, oh, somebody has done me wrong, then it's like, okay, do you really want to be in the corral and close that gate, or do you really want to let it go? And if you have unkind thoughts about someone, these are a couple of forgiveness affirmations that are really powerful, again, through my studies from metaphysics, that I keep written down so that I can tune into them. And so if you have unkind thoughts about someone, a powerful affirmation: guide me to understand why they are as they are, and through understanding, I bless them. So it's not necessarily saying that you just have to automatically forgive them. It's just the bridge. It helps you bridge that gap. So guide me to understand why they are as they are through understanding, and through understanding, I bless them. Then the next step, because I have some people, of course, I have some clients that when we're working through some of this, some of them are saying, you can hear it. I can hear you guys, but you don't understand. You don't know what they've done to me. You don't know what's happened. You don't know my life. You don't know my experiences. You don't know my past. And no, that's true. I don't know the hurt. I don't know the circumstances. However, what I do know is holding on only hurts us. It's like that boomerang that um, we know, like whatever thoughts we're putting out or whatever feelings we have against someone, they are just turned back at us. So if it is hard to forgive someone, if you are really finding it difficult, then this is another affirmation that you can use that is powerful and helps as well. So this is really calling upon your own God source. So I call upon God within me to forgive that person. So you can, say the name, you can just say that person. So I call upon God within me to forgive the person whom I at the moment do not seem to have the power to forgive. So it's another way of bridging that, not beating up on yourself that you can't forgive someone, but it's also a way to just let yourself off the hook, that you don't have to worry that you're not forgiving someone because you're not ready to. And that's okay too. We get to hold on to a little bit of anger and resentment if we need to. And sometimes, I mean, I'm all for not hitting the other person, of course, but I've been known to hit a pillow or two, or to scream into a pillow, or be out in the forest and taking a walk and letting some of those emotions out, because that is healthy too. It's not healthy to keep your emotions inside like that. So those are my resources for forgiveness and affirmations for forgiveness. And if you are interested in just talking to me further about your own talking to me about forgiveness, I'll just share my screen here just a second. And if you like, then this is where, just come in for a free discovery session. Just go to lovebrandyou.com, hit on where it says free discovery session, click this button, and it just takes you through to my calendar. You can book your the time that works for you, and it'll take you through to answer a few questions, and then you can find out more about what it's like to work with me. So that brings us to our closing prayer already. I always think how quickly our time goes each week. So this is my weekly closing affirmation. So if, again, like we do at the beginning, if you would like to just take a breath, close your eyes if you like, relax, and until next week, I look forward to seeing you next week. I will say our closing affirmation and then say goodbye for this week. All right. I call forth into the center of my mind to the God of the universe, that healing energies radiate new positive thought patterns into my subconscious mind. I am so happy and grateful that I have the power to choose forgiveness for myself and others. For this, I give thanks, and so it is.